Well, very good morning, guys. Yeah. So last day we just been talking about creating a project, right? Yeah. Just we are in the process of discussing about creating a project. How to create a project is what we just been talking. So let's actually yesterday my operation failed. Reason is I just modified the. I just downloaded and installed some extra components and a restart. Yeah, it is asking for a restart for that reason that operation failed in the last session. So let's complete that today. We're just planning to create a project, right? So let's just complete that particular project creation process right now. Okay. So what is that? Open Visual Studio. Create a new project. Fine. We're just planning to create a project. Some name, what we have just been planned up. Yeah, MVC test project 1. Okay, have a look on the process. What to do? First, choose your language here, C#. Choose your platform here, Windows, and choose your project type here, web. The project type is web. I just want to build a web application. Okay, so just choosing up. Now scroll down and you will be finding up the option ASP.NET web application in the brackets .NET framework. ASP.NET web application. See, project template for creating ASP.NET application. You can create ASP.NET web forms, MVC, and web API. All the three. You can just go for creating the web forms. You can go for creating MVC, as well as you can go for creating the web API application. All can be created here. Okay. Yeah. Click next. Give a name to the project. Save in your folder MVC7. Click next. And here it will ask you the wrong project template selected. Yeah, wrong project template selected there. This is what? Next. Yeah, ASP.NET web application .NET framework. ASP.NET web application .NET framework. Project name, location to save. Next, the runtime version, whatever it is, the latest. Create. And now here it will ask you, I explained about all these things in the last session to you. Select empty, choose MVC, and make sure all the other checkboxes are unchecked. Okay, unchecking this and click on create. Yeah. So just given the complete picture, like what to choose and what to be selected, all the things. First, in all languages, C#, all platforms, Windows, and all project types, web. Okay, and then the project name. In the project name, choose MVC test project 1. In the project name, choose MVC test project 1. In the location, enter your folder. Enter your folder. What's your folder? MVC 7. Your drive and your folder location. Fine. Next, you'll be specifying up all the appropriate details that are required for it. Fine. Yeah, the project got created. When you open the folder, by default, when you open the project, by default, you can see it will create you a project with some folders and files. See, you have folder for controllers, you have folder for models, you have folder for views. Like this, it is just going to create you a folder for different things now. Okay, so you can just see like the different folders. Apart from that, we have two other folders also. I'll explain you. So this is a project what we created. What template we used? Empty MVC. Correct? Now same like this. Now try creating one more project, guys. Create a new project. Same. Select. Same thing. Asp Net web application. Giving the name as MVC test project 2. Location same, all are same. Click on the create button. Now what you'll do, now select MVC directly. Now select MVC directly. When you select MVC directly, automatically all this MVC checkbox got enabled and selected and got disabled, so that you cannot uncheck it. Okay. And come below, remove the configure for HTTPS and click on the create button. This also will create a project. Yeah, same process, same as that. We are just going to create another project with a name called MVC test project 2. And now we choose the MVC project template. Clear. And all the other checkboxes, make sure they are unchecked. All the other checkboxes, make sure they are unchecked for you on screen. Fine. Created. If you open the Solution Explorer, you have more folders than that. You have more folders than that. Let's put side by side and see both. Yeah. You see, it is one is empty project, choosing MVC. All folders we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 folders, and here you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 folders. So more folders here. So comparatively, we have more folders in the other one when you compare with the first. So like this, we just have the two project templates here, and I've just created both the two project templates. What you see on the right is empty project template, and what you see on the left is the MVC project template. Okay, so MVC project template comes with extra folders, and also it contains some additional files. And all the things will be present. But let me explain you the folder structure first. Let me explain you the folder structure. So just look at it. What do you find on the root node is solution. You already know that. Solution name is always your project name. So you can see the root node. The root node is MVC test project 2. That is the solution. Under that, what you have? Project. What is that? MVC test project 2. And under the project, you find a list of items. The first one is connected services. The first thing what you find is connected services. So what is this connected services? Yeah, connected services. This is used for integrating Microsoft Azure services into Visual Studio, so that you can easily host and manage your application to Azure portal from Visual Studio itself. Tomorrow, my application development is completed, and now I want to host my application on Azure, Microsoft Azure Microsoft Azure is a cloud platform where you can host your things like a public server, like just like GoDaddy. Azure is more popular and more powerful than GoDaddy is and all. Okay, so I want to host it on the Azure. If at all you want to host it on Azure, Microsoft Visual Studio, yeah, one of a beautiful studio, like it provides everything integrated in it. You don't require to just take much spin for doing anything. You want to host your application on the Azure, straight from the Visual Studio, you can connect it to Azure and you can host off the site. Just after development of your application, half an hour to 1 hour if you spend, your application is hosted on the Azure now. That much simple Microsoft options are there. And to do that, we'll be using the connected services. Is that clear? Second, what is the second thing? We have a folder called app data. A folder called app data. Generally, what this app data folder contains, the app data folder contains some local database files. Local database files, or like local database files. Suppose for your project, you need some data, some sample or local data. So if at all you want any data for your application, you can just go for storing your data in XML file, Excel file. All databases only are temporary databases. Excel is a database, temporary, not permanent database. XML is a database. So we can also call them as local databases. So what you can just do is, we can just go for creating some local database files, and all the database files are stored under the folder app_data. The name indicates data. So what it contains is all the data. So all the local database files are just going to be loaded up and will be stored for you under the app data folder. Like what files you have? MDF files. You know what is MDF? You learned SQL server, huh? You create a database, it will create an MDF file here. Master data file, log data file and master data file are the two files what are created when you create a database. So once the database is created, so tomorrow, without installing SQL server on your machine completely, Visual Studio has a built-in support for SQL server in it. It's a local database, that's all. It will create MDF, LDF files and you can store data into that also. Visual Studio has that built-in support. So without installing SQL server completely, what you can do? You can create a database directly under Visual Studio, and once you create a database under Visual Studio, the MDF and LDF files will be coming and sitting for you under the app data folder, not on your hard disk. It's also hard disk only, but it will be directly in the project. Directly in the project only, you'll find the MDF files and LDF files. Second thing, XML files, Excel files, all those contents. All those contents we generally store under the app data folder. Is that clear with the app data folder? Tell me, what do you have? What do you have in them? Local data files, local databases. Okay, local databases are the local data source, what we can just say. A database are a data source. So that's what exactly it is just going to contain. This folder contains local database files or data source files. Data source files. Like .mdf files, .xml files, Excel files. Excel files, etc. All of them will come now and will be stored for you under this particular folder exactly. So that's what the use of the app data folder. So this is yeah. Next, third one. What the third one you have? Guys, look at the third one. What you have is, so connected services, next app data, next app start. Actually, this folder, as the name indicates, app data means data associated with application. App start. What it contains, it contains you a set of files. It contains you a set of files, and every file will contain class, or I can say it contains a set of classes. It contains a set of classes. And all the classes that you put into this particular folder will execute when your application starts. Will execute when the application starts. Application starts means how many times an application starts? If you're in the development environment, whenever you are developing your application, for every 5-10 minutes you make a modification, you will start your application here. And you make a change, I'll start my application. But once the application is ready and goes to production, an application starts one and only one time. Once your application is ready and moved to production, a web application starts one and only one time. One and only one time? Exactly. What is that? I hosted my application on a public server. After hosting the application on a public server, it received the first request from a client. It received the first request from some client. Who is sending, I don't know. Or otherwise, after hosting, I only send a request to test my application, my first request. When the first request comes to the site, immediately all these classes will execute. How many times they'll execute means only one time in the life cycle of an application. App start. That is what I'm telling. Interrelate here. An application starts only one time. And when application starts only one time, that files will be executed for you. What are the classes that are going to be present in it? Actually, you can have, there'll be 5 different classes what we can have in this folders here. What are the 5 classes means? Just watch. First class, bundle config. Second class, filter config. Third class, identity config. Route config, startup. These are the 5 what we have. Now bundle config will be in a file called, you know the class name is program, file name is program.cs, same only. So filter config will be present in a file called filterconfig.cs. Identity config will be present under a file called identityconfig.cs. Route config.cs. Startup, startup.auth.cs. Like this, there are 5 different options or 5 different classes. See, the folder contains a set of files which contains classes, and these classes gets executed when the application starts execution. App start folder can contain following files in it. Okay. Now all of you have a look on this. If you observe carefully now, what you see in the left hand side is a empty project, right? The app start folder contains one and only one file and one class. What is the name? And if you expand the file, it will show you the name of the class. Nah, same name only, route config. Only one. But if you come to a MVC project, watch it. Bundle config, filter config, route config. So what are those? I'll explain you. We'll first understand what is present. Next, I'll tell you what is the use of each file, what should I write in those files and all. Okay, I'm not telling you now what to write and all the things. I'm only just trying to give you the folder structure and the file structure. What is present? First to know them. Going forward, we'll try to learn what should I write under them now. Okay now? Fine. Next. The next thing what we have is the content folder. Read this, all of you. That's what I shown you right now. That's what I have just shown you right now. Okay. So based on the type of project you're just trying to open, those files are going to be created. Those files are going to be created for us. Okay. Next thing. The next thing is a content folder. The next folder is a content folder. So when we're just going to talk about the content folder, what it contains, you know, static files. Static files in a sense, CSS files, image files, static files. We call them as static files basically. Generally CSS files, any HTML files also. Image files won't change, na? So these are all called as static files. All the static files will be present for you under that folder. Read the note. Understood? Under empty project, we will not be finding the folder at all. See, the folder is not there. But under MVC project, we have the folder. And also contains a set of .css files, Bootstrap. Means already Bootstrap is installed in your projects. We'll be using Bootstrap in our code, and Bootstrap is already installed in your projects. It is already installed for you under these projects actually. Is the point clear? Okay, so that's what it is. Next folder. Sorry, next thing. Understood now? Next one. I don't require to give you any explanation for this. This folder contains controller classes where each controller should be defined in a separate file. We'll be writing separate controllers, separate files. Read the note. If you go for an empty project, the folder is empty. If you go for a MVC project, the folder is not empty. By default, it has a controller. By default, it has a controller. What is the controller? Home controller. Okay, you can observe. MVC project, sorry, empty project, folder empty. MVC project. And it also has a set of action methods, you know. Index, about, contact. All these are action methods. All these are the action method. Class is home controller, and these three are action methods. Can I call them? Yeah, you can. You can call them. You can test them. I'll show you. Okay. So we can just see it. Is that clear? What next? The next is fonts folder. The next one is fonts folder. So what is this fonts folder? Actually, guys, this fonts folder will contain, sometimes in our applications, we might be using some special fonts. Sometimes in our application, we might be using some special fonts. So suppose your application is using any special fonts now, all the fonts are going to be present for you under the fonts folder. All those fonts will be going to be present for you under the fonts folder. And look at this, guys. In MVC project, we have this folder with a set of fonts already installed. But when you come to empty project, the folder is not at all present. Is that clear? So if folder not present, what to do? You can add them here. Going forward, we'll do. Actually, I'll show empty project only. And I will manually keep on adding all these things, all these files also. What? These bundle configs, filter configs. Manually, we'll see how to do it. Then taking an MVC project, we'll take a empty project and we'll try to do all the things manually so that we'll get a much better clarity. What is the need of a bundle config? What is the need of filter config? And all the things. Okay. So I will manually install Bootstrap on your system by creating a content folder. I will manually install you any fonts with a fonts folder. I'll show all the things manually. If not present, no panic. We can add. Okay now? Read it. Clear, huh? Okay. Fine. What next? The next one is models. The next one is models. Nothing to explain about this models folder. This will contain all the model classes to you. And right now in both the two projects, the folder is empty. Folder is there, but in both the two places, it is empty only. So we'll define all the models inside of it. Read it. What a model class contains, carefully read that. Basically, model represents entity. For every entity, we have attributes. Attributes are represented as properties. You learned already. And any actions to be done will be in the form of methods to manipulate the data. Okay, that is what exactly the models folder will contain. read the note also. In both the folder existing but empty. Okay, now next. The next one is scripts. The next folder is scripts. What is script? You know, this is to this folder basically contains JavaScript or jQuery files in it. JavaScript. Tomorrow in your application you want to use some JavaScript code now. So where you put the JavaScript files? Scripts folder. CSS files? Array, content folder. Already said that now. CSS files in the content folder. JS files in the scripts folder. You see, in empty project that is not existing, but in MVC project you can see that it is existing with a set of jQuery files already installed. By default in your project, Bootstrap and jQuery are already installed if you go for a MVC project, but you don't have in a empty project. So I'll show you empty project and I will manually install Bootstrap for you. I'll manually install jQuery for you. All these things we'll do manually, guys. Point clear? All these things I'll do manually for you. Okay, no worries. We'll just discuss everything manually in our machines. Okay now? Fine. Read please. You'll be having a set of JS files in it, jQuery. Yeah. What next? Scripts is yes. What it contains? View files. It will contain the view files. Remember, actually guys, it will be containing a view files in it. Every controller is associated with action methods and action methods are associated with views. That's what I explained to you yesterday, DV for yesterday. Controller is associated with action methods. Action methods are associated with views. Now I have 10 controllers in my project. In every controller, there are 10 action methods. So totally how many? 10 into 10, 100 action methods. So how many views are there? 100 views are there. And all the views will be present under this folder. But how do I know which views are corresponding to which controller? Did you understand my question? Which views are corresponding to which controller? Because the same method name can be repeated in multiple controllers. Chances are there, nah. Why can't we have the same method in multiple classes? Then the view names also gets duplicated. Then there is a conflict. So for that reason, what it does, you know, views folder contain all the views in it, no doubt. But for every controller under the views folder, a separate folder will be maintained. You have home controller. So under views, again you'll have a folder called home. You have a test controller, test. Student controller, student. Like this, it is going to maintain a separate folder. And under that folder, it will be storing you the views now. Now tell me, in the empty project, do we have any controllers? Fast here. No. So that's why if you come to the views folder doesn't contain anything in it. It contains a file called web.config. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that web.config. Ignore it, but there are no views. But you come to here, the controller, we have a controller now. What controller? Home controller with the action methods also present now. Now if you guys go to the views folder, in the views folder, you'll be finding a folder called home now. And if you expand that, the views. So here, index, you have index. Contact, you have contact. About, you have about. Are you clearer or not? So like this, it is just going to store you the things. Tomorrow, if I add one account controller here, then automatically under views folder, I'll have a folder called accounts. Account. Under that, login, register and all. I have a customer controller. I'll have a folder called customer now. Is it clear? Now I have a doubt now. Sir, what is this shared? Sometimes some views can be shared by multiple controllers. Sometimes some views can be shared by multiple controllers, like about. About my website. In all the places I have about. Means these are common. They are common functionalities. Generally, about, contact us. These are all the things, if you see, they are going to be common. Home page. They're common now. So all the common things will always be present under shared folder. As the name indicates, it is shared by all controllers. It is shared by all controllers. What you have is common things. Common things. Say, in your project, any controller, any action method can get an error. Na? Array, in your project, any controller, any action method can get an error. Chances are there. So when you get an error, without displaying, do you show the error details to end user? You learned exception handling. Do you show error details to end user? We don't show. Without showing, we will create a custom error page and that error page will be shown to the user. What will show? A custom error page and that error page will be shown to users. Did you guys understand me or not? So that error pages should be designed and shown to the users actually. So you design one error page and this error page is common for all now. And you see now, that is present here. Layout, yeah, every project will have a layout here. Common for all pages and that is the layout. We'll discuss about layouts and all. But what you have in a shared folder? Common content. The common content will be in the shared folder. Right now, if you observe here, it is empty. Why? Array, no controller, nothing is there here. So all the things we only should add. We will add it. We'll just see how to add it. Are you clear with the views folder? Yes or not? Okay. So like this, we are just going to have some content already existing for you on the views folder. Contact the admin. I already said you, who is this Mr. Redmi? I said you yesterday, put your names, not your mobile numbers, mobile names. Put your name there, yeah. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Have a look. Read. Views. This folder contains all the view files, UI, that are required for this application. And the extension of these files will be .cshtml in case we are working with C# language, or else it will be, if you are working with VB language, the extension of the files will be VBHTML. And these files contain both C# or VB and HTML code in them, and we call these files as Razor pages. What do we call them? Razor pages. Okay, next. If we open an empty project template, then views folder comes with a file in it, the web.config. As I showed you already, web.config. Other than that, nothing will be there. If you open an MVC project template, then this folder will contain two subfolders in it with the name home and shared. And these folders will contain a set of .cshtml files, and apart from that, views folder also contains _views.cshtml and web.config files. Guys, just that all I'm telling you. Follow the structure. I will explain about each and every file and we will manually add them. Sir, what is the use of view start? What is the web.config? None of our business now. Just only trying to show you what is present in the project. That's all. Everything we will learn in detail. Next. Under views folder, for every controller, it will create a folder to store all the views that are associated with that controller. For example, if there is a controller with the name home controller, then there will be a home folder created under views folder to share all the views associated with the home controller. Same like this. Under the views folder, we also have shared folder containing all the views that are common for all the controller. For example, layout, error, these type of things. Common things will be present for you under the under that particular shared folder. So like this, we are just going to have a set of things. I am not getting model controller. You did not open an MVC project. Nitish, you did not open an MVC project. Check what type of project did you open first. If you don't get the myth, that is not an MVC project then. Are you choosing framework or are you choosing MVC core? Make sure. What is said is ASP.NET Web Application .NET Framework. Just to make sure. There is another thing called as MT project. That is core. Don't select that. What you should select is ASP.NET Web Application. In the bracket, it has to show you .NET Framework. Make sure you selected that correctly first. Okay. Yeah, look now. So that's about the views folder. Understood about the views folder? So these are the folders what you will be having up over in the views. Okay, content folder, fonts folder, models and the views folder. Fine. Yeah. Lastly, these are all the folders here. These are all the folders we have. Now, apart from the folders, we have a set of files also. Apart from the folders, we have a set of files also. Watch it. Global.asx, packages.config, web.config. What is this? First one, global.asx. What is this global.asx? Actually, it is a class. It is a class. And this class will contain a set of methods. And those methods will run or those methods will execute in different scenarios. I repeat, the global.asx contains a class and this class contains a set of methods and those methods will execute in different scenarios. And you can understand that with the help of the names of the methods, with the help of method names. The first method what we have in this class is application underscore start. Can you understand when will it execute? Easily, yes sir. Activeness, be active first. When will it execute? The name tells you application start. When the first request comes to your application, that executes. But you already said that app start classes will execute. Actually, what happens, first this method will execute. When the first request comes, first which method will execute? Application start. Now application start method will invoke the classes present in application start folder. So what executes first in your code, global.asx. Which method? Application start. Now application start will go to application start folder and that is going to call you or invoke the classes that are present for you under that particular folder. So don't forget, the execution always starts from the global.asx and this method. Then the class name is whatever is the class name, none of the business. This method. This method will now go to abstract and it will invoke all these classes now. It will invoke you these particular classes. Means nothing here. Going in the sense in this method, instances of those classes are created here. In this method, those three classes instances are created for execution. So first request comes here only. Okay. Second method is application underscore end. What is that face again here? Application end, start, opposite end. What is that? When will it execute? The method executes before you shut down an application. Before you shut down an application. Every day, you start and shut down. Every day you do that. But once it goes to production, you don't shut down an application every day. Suppose today the application has some maintenance. Sometimes see banking websites will go for a maintenance activity. Sometimes you'll see like there's a maintenance process going on. You'll receive the messages also. So in this time, transactions will not happen. So generally they do it in the midnight. Generally they do it in the midnight. So then in such scenarios, they will shut down the application first. And at that point of time, that method will execute. What method? Application underscore end. Third method, application underscore error. Whenever there is an error in the application, that method will run. Whenever there is a error in the application, that method will run. So what? We need to write the logic here. When the error comes, what to do? When the error comes, what to do? That code we will write in the method now. Which method? Application underscore error. Fourth method, session underscore start. What is this method, you know? Whenever a new user connects to the site, that method will execute. You have Facebook account. You logged into Facebook. When you log in into Facebook, immediately session start method will execute. You have just gone for logout. Session end. Session start, session end. Means how many times session start will execute? Every time a user connects, session start will execute. And whenever the user is going away, session end will execute. Like this, there will be 5 methods in this particular class, a set of methods, and these methods will be responding for different events, or they will be executing in different scenarios actually. Are you guys clearer or not? They'll be executing for you under different scenarios. See there? This is a file that contains a global configuration class, and in this class we find a set of methods. Application start, application end, application error that executes for application level actions, and other methods like session start and session end that execute like session level events. Session level means a user connectivity. Whenever a user connects, that is called as one session. Whenever the user logouts, session ended there. So how many times a session will start today? Millions of times. And a session can end also for millions of times. Okay? Are you clear with global.asx? That's what. Now currently, if you want to see the code, right now in both the projects we have global.asx, and in both the projects we have the class, and in both the projects we have the method. If you go to this method, which one? Blank empty project, in this you will find it is going to invoke this class. Which class? Route config. If you go to this method, you will find invoking these classes. Bundle config, filter config, and route config, all these things. So you can see, I'll open the file, watch. Filter config, route config, bundle config. All are invoked for you here. And on the other side, if you see this, only one route config. Is that clear? So basically, actually, my site is hosted, guys. My site got hosted now. Now I got the first request. Which class it will go? MVC application. Which method it will invoke? Application start. And this method will now activate all these classes. What classes? Route config, filter config, bundle config. Whatever is there, all those things are going to be activated now. Did you understand the process? First request goes to MVC application class, application start method. Then this is going to activate you all the classes what you have, like route config, filter config, startup. I said you 5 classes actually. Identity config, startup, identity config. All these classes are going to be activated for you under that particular file. Yes, if you have 100 users, 100 sessions are created. Yes, guys, if there are million users, million sessions are created. The question is, sir, if I have 100 users, 100 sessions are created? Yes, it is created. If you have million users, million sessions are created. And basically the session is like, sessions will be storing you the data associated with a user. You log into Facebook. Can I share your data with others? Come on, tell me. Can I share your data with others? No. If there are a million users connected to Facebook, million sessions are going to be created, and each session will be storing the data associated with that user. Point clear? Okay, so that's what. Yeah, we'll discuss about the sessions in detail going forward. Yes, global.asx is the first trigger. Array, global.asx only will contain the application class, na? Global.asx is only going to contain the application class under the application start method. So global.asx is the first thing to run in the code. Okay, the class name is MVC application. The class name is not global. The class name is MVC application. In the file, the class name is MVC application and the method name is application start and all. See, in this, you created instances and invoking them now. Same way, if you have application end method, in that you will write all the code for destroying them. Did you catch my point or not? What code you'll write? Destroying them, releasing the resources, all that type of code will be present in application end. Are you getting me? Yeah, Facebook will steal your data. That's an open secret. Everyone knows that. That is fact. Even he was just put in the code for that reason. Okay. And what is the next file? Packages.config. What this packages.config will contain, you know? Actually, in my application, I'll be installing some softwares. jQuery. jQuery is not a product of Microsoft here. I want jQuery to be installed on my system. Bootstrap. Bootstrap is not a product of Microsoft. Like this, there are so many third-party softwares gets installed in your application now. Are you clear? So whatever you install in your project, whatever is installed in your project, how do I know what is present in my project? Bootstrap is installed or not? What if Bootstrap is installed? What version is installed? Bootstrap has so many versions. If jQuery is installed, what version is installed? I want to know all these things. You find the whole information in the packages.config. If you go to packages.config, it will show you all the packages installed on your system and what are the versions of those packages that are installed on your machine. You can just have a look, guys. I'll show you. First, I'm showing you empty project. First, I'm showing you empty project. In empty project, we don't have Bootstrap installed, right? We don't have Bootstrap installed. We don't have jQuery installed. So these are the something what is installed. Asp Net MVC, Asp Net Tracer, Web Pages. There's something what is installed, and these are versions. These are the versions. All of them are targeting to 4.8. 4.8 will write Net 4.8. Net 4.8 will 4.8. Net 4.7 means 4.7. Okay, like this, it will show you the information to you. Okay, now see MVC projects. If you see an MVC project, all of you, here we install Bootstrap and all, see? Yeah, Bootstrap installed. What version? 3.4.1. jQuery installed. What version? 3.4.1. jQuery.validations is installed. What version? 1.17. Same way, Modernizer, Newtonsort, WebGrease, so many other softwares are installed. There we found only, remember only these three things, sorry, these five we found there. There we find only these five. But here we have so many others. Antler, Bootstrap, jQuery, jQuery validations, Microsoft, jQuery and Aftersive, Web Infrastructure, Modernizer, Newtonsoft. So many packages are installed. Are you clear? See, you take an empty project now, install Bootstrap. You will get that information in the packages.config. Fine, clear? Shall we try that? Come on. So it's an empty project. Sorry. This is empty project. Okay. So I don't have Bootstrap installed on my machine now. I don't have Bootstrap installed on my machine. I don't have jQuery installed on my machine. I want to install them. I just want to install them. If you want to install them, what is the process, you know? In the studio, if you go to the tools menu, you'll be finding an option called as NuGet Package Manager. NuGet Package Manager. What is NuGet Package Manager? You want to install Bootstrap here. What is the general process to install a software in your machine? Tell me. What is the general process you follow to install a software? You open Google, search for it, install it. That will install for you in the downloads folder. Unpackage it. Afterwards, whatever required files are needed, you copy them into your project. Are you clear? That is the process, correct? But this tool, the NuGet Package Manager, without all the headaches, it will search in the net. It will give you the list of options available. Whatever you want, that is directly installed in your project. Did you understand my point or not? It will directly install for you in your project. Means downloading somewhere, copying here, no need. Straight away, that is installed into your project. So you can see NuGet Package Manager. Under that, you'll find an option. What is that? Manage NuGet packages for solution. Click on that. It opens a window. It opens a window. And here you'll be finding browse, installed, updates, consolidate. Installed. What are the packages installed in your thing? We remember 5 packages installed? Showing see? These are the packages installed. Updates. In these 5, one has an update. If you go to updates, it will show you the updates present. See Microsoft code down, this has an update. The installed version is 2.0.1 and the latest version is, you can update now. You can update now. Such a beautiful way to provide to you. If you're downloading online again, different folders, copying, no issue. Just directly, it will show you. This is what you have if you want to update with the latest version. So when you select it, on the right side, it will show you install version and the latest version. Click on install. It will uninstall 2.0.1 and install 3.6.0 in your projects. Is that clear? Same way. Browse. Browse is for new things. I want to install new things. I want to install Bootstrap. Bootstrap. Search for it. It will search and it will get you Bootstrap now. Bootstrap. The latest version of the Bootstrap is 5.1.3. Come to the right side now. And in the right side, it will show you into which project. Select your project and install button activates. Click on the install and Bootstrap is installed on your machine. It'll ask you for licensing. Just click on the OK button. It will install you. Successfully installed. Now go to packages.config. You will find Bootstrap now. Are you clear? What version do I have? 5.1. Tomorrow I don't want Bootstrap. Come back to the NuGet packages. Come back to the NuGet packages. You will be finding them under installed. Under installed, you should find Bootstrap now. Are you clear? Under install, you should find Bootstrap now. Select it. Select it. Go to the right side. Uninstall. Removing all the packages. It's removed. And you can go and see the packages.config doesn't contain information. I forgot to show you guys. Actually, when you install Bootstrap, it also creates that folder, content folder. I forgot to show you. You try that. Content folder will be created and all the Bootstrap. Otherwise, one more time, let's install. We'll get it. Bootstrap. Bootstrap install. Check. Content folder created. Also, it Bootstrap uses some JS files also. Scripts folder also created, see? Understood? All these are things. When I uninstall, everything is deleted again. Go to install, okay, install softwares, select Bootstrap and click on uninstall. Folders are deleted. Okay now? Now you go to MVC project here. Go to MVC project, all of you. If you go to the MVC project, So this is a blank project, right? Now go to MVC project. In MVC project, now here also open the package manager console, open it. You'll have update options now. See, the latest is not 3.4.1, just now we saw 5.1.3 is the latest version. Okay, so I want to upgrade. I can upgrade, I can downgrade also. Downgrade means least version. Upgrade means high version. So go to tools menu, NuGet package manager, manage NuGet packages per solution. Are you clear? Manage NuGet packages per solution. Yeah. So these are all the installed. You see that it is showing you. Currently what you have is 3.4.1 and you have 5.1.3 available in the market. If you want, you can upgrade it. Go to the other side, select a project. Go to updates. Yeah, go to updates. There are 6 updates in that. Select Bootstrap and just go for install. When you install, automatically it will uninstall you 3.4.1. Install, and this is going to install you the latest version. And that information now you can go and find in the packages.config file. This is upgrading. Same way you can also go for downgrading. I want to downgrade. I want the old version. What is the old version, guys? 3.4.1. The old version is 3.4.1. So if you go to Bootstrap here and here, you can just go for choosing up the version you have. Is the installed version, and I want to downgrade to 4. What is it? 3.1 now, 4.3.1. So uninstall this and install. So click on the install. It is first uninstall 5.1.3 and it is going to install you 3.4.1 again. And once that is completed, again, the updates section has to show you about the updates again. Back. Installed version, available version. So this is again going to be updated in the packages.config. I hope you guys are clear. Yes or not? It's 3.4.1, huh? Okay, whatever it is, no issue. I just upgraded, downgraded, whatever you want, you can just do. That's not a big deal. So did you understand about packages.config? Yes. By default? Where? I not downloaded. It is an option to connect it to Azure. That's all. GoDaddy or something, then site hosting should be done. That's a different process. In GoDaddy, you will find an option to upload the project. GoDaddy directly provides you. See, you remember when I opened the GoDaddy, it has just given you Windows for ASP.NET and core options. From there, you will be having an upload option. Directly give you upload option. You will be selecting your project folder and the project folder gets uploaded then. But in Azure means, no need all these things. So straight away you can connect off to Azure from here. From the connector services, you can just go for manage connector services. And from here, you can start the hosting process. You can start the hosting process from here. It will directly host your application into Azure. We'll see, guys, but in the last, not now. We'll see this in the last. I'll show you. I promised you that in the MVC core, when you go to MVC core, I will develop an application like a project to you. Just like a mini project, I'll develop an application. So I'll take a project. I will just create a master page, a layout for that. I will add you different sites. I will be writing the database coding in that. Okay, database coding. In that, I will show you integrating authentication, authorization, login form, registration form. Not only that one. Suppose in your application, you want to provide a Facebook login. I want to give a Google login. I can. All those options we will add. Okay, finally, after everything is ready, what we'll do is, we will host the application into Azure. And once I host the application into Azure, the next second you people can start accessing the application. From your mobile devices or your systems, you can start accessing the application. I'll show that like a mini project to you. Everything. Securities, authentications, authorization. Everything will integrate for you. Facebook authentication, Google authentication. How do you do all these things? Everything will see. Is that clear? Connected services available in MVC7. What is MVC7 here? I don't understand. We don't have MVC7 at all first. And where you got it? Older one, MVC5 is the last. And latest MVC Core 6. Where you have MVC7 first. It's necessary to keep model folder present. You don't want to delete it. You don't want to delete. And a folder, if it is present in your project, what is the problem? Tell me. If there is a folder present in your project, what is the folder? Sorry, if a folder present in your project, what is the problem? Will the folder occupy any space? Folders are physical or logical? And then whatever folders are present, what do you use? What is the problem with them? Don't want? Remove it. No issues. It's not like mandatory. I don't require views, delete. I don't require models, delete. You can delete off. No issue if you don't have them in the application. But MVC itself means models, views, controllers. If you don't have them, then coming to MVC is waste now. You can just go with your older applications only, web forms. Understood? Can you please show the properties and references in the project, what it contains? References will contain you the assemblies. The assemblies, whatever you are using in your project, all the system assembly, everything will be present here. System.data, database programming system, these are root assembly, what you require for writing your code. All that information, these are the libraries. These are all the libraries, what it contains. Properties will contain you a file called assemblyinfo.cs, and some of you people who are already completed C# know about this assemblyinfo.cs. This is the place where we'll write the version numbers and all for the projects. Who are doing, will be learning forward. All the 9 o'clock batch, you just been learned it yesterday only. C# 9 o'clock students, yesterday only I just explained about that one. Assembly info. Here you will be writing what? Version numbers, company name, all those things. That is assemblyinfo.cs. So that's about that one. References will contain the assemblies, predefined assemblies, base class libraries. All these are our libraries. All those things will be present for you there. And that is not related with your, that's not related with your MVC here. That's not related with MVC. In every project will have references. In every project will have properties. That is common. And the icon here, there is icon file. There is just an icon file there. It's an icon, that's all. Some icon file, somewhere they're using it. That's it. Now, look at this, all of you. I am running, this is MVC project template, right? I'm running the MVC project template. I'm running this. When I run this, you guys observe, the project runs, and also it has some pages that will open. Home controller, index, home controller with 3 methods we saw. Index, about, contact. Okay, some 3 pages we saw, they'll open for you. First, index will open. First, what will open? Index. Index is the root page for a website in MVC. Index is like a default page. Index is like a default page. What opens first is the index. If I run a blank project, nothing is there to run. If I run a blank project, we don't have anything to run there. No controller, no view, nothing is there to run. But here we have, so it runs. Hold on. First time, the project has to be built, compile, and do all the stuff. It takes a bit time to launch. Already page is ready, and it is just going to launch you here. Is that clear? Home, about, contact. Home, about, and contact. So this is home page. Home page is the index page. If I click on that, same page only will come. Next, about your application. Next, contact. the contact page. Is it clear? So that as a default layout here, that layout will automatically come into action. That layout will automatically come into action and shows you the output to you there. Yes, I'll show you integrating Angular, but how to integrate Angular, but not writing any code. Just I will only show you one class, how you can integrate Angular with your MVC, that's all. But don't expect me to teach you about how Angular coding should be done. I'm not responsible for that. Only Angular integration is what my job, and I'll do that. Yeah. Now come to your empty project here. Come to your empty project. Array, stop messaging here. Update 2022, I'm telling now. Yeah, this is empty project. If I run, I don't see any output now. Why? There is no controller here. There is no view here. Nothing is here. We need to add all those things manually now. We need to add all those things manually. Right now, nothing is there here. So when you try to run, you'll be getting an error. You'll be getting an error or some information what it shows to you. See that? So fine. Are you clear about the complete project structure? Understood about each and everything? Yeah, one more thing I forgot to explain. Web.config. There is another file. What is that? Web.config. First one is global.asset. Second one is packages.config. Third one is web.config. Web.config actually will contain information about configuration settings. Like what? Configuration settings in the sense. So you have 100 web pages. In all the web pages here, on the top of the web page, you're showing the address of the company. Name of the company, address of the company, phone number of the company. Three things you're showing. What are the three? Name of the company, address of the company, phone number of the company, contact numbers of the company. Now tell me, is there any chance tomorrow these values can be modified or not? When this, suppose phone number modified. When phone number modified, updating this in all the pages is easier. Not easy, na? That's why those type of values we store in web.config. Those type of values we store in web.config. So what is the advantage? Tomorrow if anything modified, if I update in web.config, that automatically reflects to all my pages. So these are called as application settings. And the people who learned your ADO.NET already in your Windows classes are already people who are familiar with the web forms, know this already. In your C#, it is called as app.config. In C# we have that with the name called app.config. In here we call it as web.config. If you people already done web forms, you might be familiar. Who done Windows? In Windows, in the database programming, I thought about a file called app.config, and that and this are same. What you will store there? Like application setting values like company names, address. Next, database connection strings. These type of things are what we generally store in the file. Okay? Every file will use. Every file will use. Already app.config. I don't write anything in app.config, but app.config I already clarified you. Global.asx I shown you already. Understood? Web.config by default contains some content in it here. What is the content is? Something is present there. And we will see all these things. We'll manually see writing all these things. If you go to empty project, in empty project, yeah, it's an empty project. That is empty project one. Yeah, you have some information already present over, and we will just try to understand what we will write and what is the use of each and everything. All these things also we'll try to understand going forward. But these are the contents what you will be having again here. If we change in web.config, we have to deploy, no need. Bootstrap is not responding in MVC project. I did not understand. What do you mean? What do you mean by not responding? Yeah. The question is, sir, you have one web.config here and one web.config here. Two are there, see? So if I'm asking the question, sir, what is the difference? The difference is, if I write anything here, that applies to the whole application. If I write anything here, that applies only to this folder. Which one is given the first preference? Local or global? Local. Local is given the first preference. Suppose if I put any setting here, and if I can override that setting here, first preference goes to local only. If that is not there in the local, then it goes to global. Are you clear? Suppose guys, I have 100 pages here. In 100 pages, 99 pages, I wanted to show one phone number. One page, I want to show a different phone number. Did you understand my point or not? Or 90 pages, I want to show one phone number, and 10 pages, I want to show another phone number. Did you get my point? In that cases, what we do? We go for a local setting and we just override that. And that applies only to that only. It won't apply. If that is not present, then it goes to global. Okay? We'll see about global web.app configs and local web.app configs, how to manage them. We'll just try to use all these particular things. But first preference always goes to local. If not, then goes to global. If local is not there, everyone depends on global. Okay, right now, in the local web.app config, we don't have any content. We have some content, but not as much as we saw there. Some content is present for you here also. Okay, here also, we have some content available. So like this, we'll be having the various files that are associated with you in this particular project. Is everything clear with the projects now? Okay, now we have a empty project, but nothing to run there. I want to run now. You want to run there? Then start defining your own controllers, start defining your own action methods, and start defining your own views. Point clear? So what we should do? We should start defining our own controllers, action methods, and the views. Okay, we'll do that, guys. Meanwhile, yeah, you can have a look on these two, 11 and 12. This contains information of packages that are used under the project so that anyone can easily understand if there are any third-party packages consumed for the development of these applications along with their version numbers. You also contain the version numbers there deployed in the application along with the version numbers. Next, this is a configuration file for the whole application which contains configuration settings like application settings, connection settings, network settings, compiler settings. All the information will come and sit for you under this particular file. Okay, so finally, what we are trying to conclude here is, if at all we just take an MVC project, or if at all we just take a empty project and configure this with MVC, we'll be having up so and so contents and things. Let's conclude here finally here. So what are the extra things you find in MVC project? Content, scripts, and fonts. Contents, scripts, and fonts. What is fonts? Okay, when I uninstall something, it uninstalled it. We just gone for updating the downgrading something that got uninstalled. I think the fonts are uninstalled, but otherwise fonts also will be there. Okay, and remaining all the files are same. Here also we have global.asx packages web.config, and here also we have all these three. And if you come to abstract, here we have only one class, that is route config, but here we have three classes: bundle config, filter config, and the route config. Okay, okay guys, just go through the document, try to create both the two projects, open them, and just try to understand about each and every of the appropriate things. So tomorrow we will start creating controllers. Let's just go for creating the controllers in the project and how to write the action methods in the project. We'll see. Okay, let's stop here. We'll meet tomorrow. The document is available for you in the Google Classroom. Contact your admin, Devarajulu. What you're learning is that only here. Again, what is this nonsense question? Will you teach it as a business layer? That's a business layer only. The MVC project which you run there, I saw Bootstrap is not supporting. Can you run again? Maybe outdated version. Maybe an outdated version which will be upgraded. Not yet created, Likita. We will create a group. Because if I create a group, people started sharing the meeting IDs there. So that's why I'm not creating the group yet. I'll create it later. Devaraju, without having an admin number, how did you enter the class? Yes, Nisha. And he's only the admin. Contact him only. He is only the admin for you. Contact him only. Yes. Without entity framework, how do you learn MVC? Yes, Nishant. Arvind is only your admin. For Google Drive also, you need to contact Arvind only. The complete notes is already present in Google Classroom, Ajit. The complete notes is already present in Google Classroom. Download. No, Varun. You can only send messages in the chat. Okay, guys. Have a nice day. Let's meet tomorrow. పంపించానని